Uh, name is Samson Omolo. I'm a trainer IAT, and we are going to uh, learn about effective study methods for students in the 21st century. Now, effective study methods. When we talk about effective study methods, a method is a structured approach, and we can say it's also a technique used to achieve a certain goal. But let me tell you, if you want to uh, catch a rat, there is a rat that has been disturbing you at home, and you want to catch it. We all know about the famous cartoon Tom and Jerry. You can well attest to it that Tom really tried to catch Jerry many of times, and I know this cartoon goes far. If you haven't watched and you're watching this video and you haven't watched Tom and Jerry, then I think you are an alpha generation. I think the Gen Zs uh, will be more familiar to this setup of Tom and Jerry. As Jerry will always escape Tom's methods. That's why we are saying the technique used by Tom to catch Jerry were all methods. But when we want to look at the most effective, there are methods and there are effective methods. Those are two different things. We can say that Tom had methods of catching Jerry, but Jerry had effective methods of escaping Tom's methods. So there are methods, but not all methods are what? Effective to study. And as an institution, we have done the research and looked at what are the effective study methods that a student can use so that they can achieve their goal of getting the skills required, of being competent in the area of competence. So hence, there are identified proper study methods or effective proper study methods. And uh, effective study methods for a student in the 21st century, or as I will say, for the Gen Zs of this year, uh, would be a blend of traditional techniques that we have been knowing and the modern technology techniques. So a blend of the two will give us an effective study methods. And here are some of the effective techniques that I have sampled through in my life. Number one is active learning. Active learning. What do we mean by active learning? Active learning involves you as a person engaging with the learning material. You as a person having a kinetic study session. You as a person having interact. Sometimes you will see the photo that we are presenting of a baby, and you will see babies when they get a new toy or when they get a new product. There is a stage where everything is taken into this mouth. They want to interact with everything. You give a baby your hand, they take it to their mouth. You give them a toy, they will take it to their mouth. And you can see like that baby there over there has a train toy, and he's sitting on it. He's stepping on the toy. He wants to interact actively with that toy. And you will see a baby when they want to learn. They want to learn a new toy. They want to learn their toys. They will put it in their mouths. They'll try to hear it. They will try to smell it. They will try to knock it down and see what material is this. They are just engaging with the material. Just as you are When you are presented with a new course concept, you are presented with a new concept in class. You want to study that concept. You want to study that course. You want to study so that you can gain the required skills in that course. What we are saying is that engage, have meaningful engagement with that with that course. Have meaningful engagement with the study material. If it is books, have meaningful engagement with your books. Have meaningful engagement with the PDFs. Make flashcards with the PDFs, and you can be able to make the flashcards using some technological tools that are there for you for free, like the Anki and the Quizlet. This will help you to make flashcards, ask you questions and you are replying, and it will space up repetition so that you can, through repetition, actively recall and memorize what you are studying. Instead of just reading and listening to something, actively actively engage. And sometimes you have found that people sometimes run or go to a jog while listening to some some lecture or some course study material, uh, so that it can create that kinetic energy of activity, so that when you are still, you remember the activity that you are doing. It is easy to remember an activity. It is easy to remember an activity that you did yesterday, but it's sometimes hard to remember a book or a verse that you read yesterday. So it is very important for you to relate an activity with a book, to relate an activity with a concept, to relate an activity with your memory. You can try this out, and I'm sure some of you, in your most active moments, you can remember details of that moment. So it is about your brain taking the activity and not only being passionate about the activity, but also taking the memory during that activity. That is active learning as an effective study method. On to our second effective study method, dear beloved viewer, is digital tools and resources. We have numerous digital tools. We are in a digital world. We are in a digital age. We are in a century where resources are digitalized. We have platforms where you can find course materials. You can find platforms where notes are available. You don't sometimes need to carry out large books in your bags. You can find some courses, some short courses that will help you in the study. For example, is Coursera. Coursera is one of the courses by Google that will that provides courses, short courses that goes for uh, even weeks or even hours, so to completion, that can give you uh, a resource on a particular course, on a particular topic, so that you can grasp what is uh, what is uh, what has been filtered for you. There are resources such as Kahoot. Kahoot is a study material, or is a digital tool that can enable you to gamify some questions. You know, we have used Kahoot as teachers in IIT. That's why we are the best education experts. We have used Kahoot in our classrooms to engage the students in participating in class quizzes. We realized as an institution that sometimes the old method of getting into a classroom and just asking questions does not ignite anymore the students' enthusiasm to participate in that class, or does not ignite thinking for a student, because it's a traditional method. And what effectiveness that we uh, we have come to find is to blend the two. It is not to leave it alone, but to blend it. So when we bring the questions in a gamified way, and Kahoot has done it best, whereby students can log in into a portal and have questions which are gamified. You get points of each and every question. It stimulates learning. It stimulates your experience with that study material. It stimulates your experience of memory. It stimulates you as an active learner. Right? And when you get points in a game, we have seen people gaming anywhere, anytime. We have seen people gaming and even hours spending in a game without being followed or without being supervised. But immediately somebody starts to study, they lose their concentration very fast. And so digital tools and resources have made it possible. The app engineers or the founder of Duolingo, the language learning platform, said that as a researcher, they had found that it is very easy for somebody to enter into a digital platform which is engaging than to enter into a passive learning environment. So Duolingo came up from the point where it is an engaging platform. It is like a game you are playing while learning a certain language. And right now they have made many uh, they have made many to be acquainted with certain languages. They have made many to be able to speak foreign languages. And in fact, if you just want to learn any foreign language, just visit Duolingo and other platforms, digital tools that will help you engage in your study. And that is a good study method, using digital tools. We have note-taking tools that will help you take notes. We have note-taking tools that will enable you to scribble, and it will change your scribble handwriting to a font that can be read. Some of us have handwritings that when we start to read, we can just even doze off, or we get bored to see that one monotonous handwriting. There are pads or note-taking applications that enable you to scribble through the notepad and changes whatever you have scribbled into a perfectly written font handwriting. There are also applications that even can transcribe for you the notes that you are detecting or whatever you say on them. So those are digital tools that can help you in effective study. Effective study requires note-taking. It is a traditional method that whenever you are studying, it is required you to take some notes. And for effective studying, you using digital tools to marry together the note-taking and using the digital tools. That is an effective student and will get effective results. Time management is also an effective study method. Time management. It has been said over and over again, if you cannot manage time, then you cannot manage anything. Time management. Time is money. Time management. It is involving studying in short focused bursts, and part of our online fair today will be time management. So I won't talk more on this, but I just want us to know that time management is very important for study. When we study, we have heard the quote that education is the equalizer. Well, today I'm also saying that if education is the equalizer, try time. Time is equal to everyone and anyone. Everyone has 24 hours. There is now no single person who has not 24 hours. So everyone has 24 hours. Time has equalized everybody everywhere. No matter where you are in this face of the earth, time is the same. So your time management in study is very important. There are several rules and methods of how you can manage your time. But I want to say, and I will leave it for another segment, but I want to say that for effective study, time is a very important component. Time management. What about collaborative learning? It is an old method where when we come together, great things happen. We have heard of such sayings. We have heard of sayings that uh, collaborative learning is better than you handling a task. We have seen many. We have seen many sayings in our Swahili language on collaborativeness, to collaborate. So this approach involves students working together on activities or learning tasks in groups enough to ensure everyone participates, not large groups like class. A class is still a collaborative learning. I've seen students who, when you tell them that we will have a one-on-one learning, there is how their morale goes down because maybe they will be afraid that the teacher will be on to their case. So sometimes group learning is something unto us. You see, even God, there is the worship in groups. You know, that's why sometimes we appear in groups in churches. So there is a reason also why God says in His good book that wherever two or three are gathered, I am there. There is something that you need to note on collaborative learning. So this approach whereby you come together to study together, to listen to different perspectives of one another and to respect each and every person's perspective of the collaborating peers can enhance understanding and provide deeper perspective on the material. So if we were a group of 3 or 4 people in a round table and we all had a perspective of a concept, and maybe your perspective was not deep enough, there is somebody who will add onto your perspective because it is a group learning. It is a group learning. So there are also, it must not be just a physical group learning. There is also online forums that facilitate these group learnings. Platforms like the one that we are using right now, Teams. We have Zoom. We have Reddit. We have Stack Exchange. We have specialized platforms like Stack Exchange that can enable you to come as a group and collaborate on a project, on uh, on uh, on a concept. So collaborative learning, it might be an old traditional technique. It might be some cliche, but it is very important that we may use this traditional methods, combine them with our digital tools, modernize it a little bit. Meet at not the usual class, meet even at a coffee cafe, meet somewhere serene and at a serene environment, meet in an online platform and have your study together and have your collaborative study together. Together. I hope I'm not losing you at this point. So we are going on smoothly. Remember, first we have engage with the material. Number two, we have the digital tools. Then we have the collaborative learning. Next, we are going to multimodal learning. Multimodal learning, multi means multiple, model means maybe a method. So multimodal learning combines visual, kinesthetic learning, auditory learning, use of videos. You can use podcast. You can use hands-on activities to engage different styles and reinforcing understanding. Do not just stick to reading a book. Do not just stick to uh, writing notes. Look, uh, other than reading just the book, listen to the book. Listening to the book, other than just listening to the book, have videos explaining a concept of the book. This reinforces an understanding. This engages different learning styles in your brain. And sometimes we have not yet known maybe what type of person are we, because effective study methods also goes with a type of person. But before I mention on the type of person that you are in, the type of person that you are in during a study, I want you to engage multi modes of learning. Engage your hearing, engage your eyes, engage your hands, engage your even your tongue in learning. Whenever you do this multimodal learning, you are creating and reinforcing the parts in your neuron of grasping and memorizing the concept. You are reinforcing in your minds the concept that are required for you. Using mind maps, I loved mind maps. Creating visual diagrams from the definition. Where do we go to the definition? What was the subtopic? From the subtopic, what was the other subtopic? And creating that mind map and connecting this mind map as a network to the study topic that you are learning. You connect those strings as a detective. I know you have seen those crime movies and those crime series. You have watched FBI. You have watched those Criminal Minds movies, and you have seen how the detectives they put pictures of the suspects on a board. They have a mind map of how the investigation is taking place, and they sit back on a table and just rest as they look at this mind map. This draws a learning mechanism of the way the crime or the criminal empire is structured. This creates a memory of the study topic. So this might be an old method, but remember, with the digital tools, this can be effective for us as the generation of the 21st century, or for us as the Gen Zs or the Alpha generation, to use these methods in studying for our next exam or for our next skill practice. Our also next and critical effective method is critical thinking and problem solving. You know, if your why is not that strong to study a concept, then you're not going to get it. You have to think critically, and thinking critically most revolves on why, how, what, when, where. Those three, the four W's and a H. Why, when, how, what, and how. Three W's and a H, sorry. Three W's and a H. So critically think, what is the problem? If this is the topic, if we have a topic, what is the problem? What is the definition of this topic? If we are defining a computer, what is a computer? Why should I study computer? When was this computer brought? How did it came to be that we have a computer? Well, think critically, and when we start thinking critically on a topic, on a material, on a study, then we develop something called critical thinking, and then we develop problem solving in our study. So then, rather than just looking at the tools, if I'm studying engineering, rather than just looking at the tools, if I'm studying engineering in networking, rather than just going through the tools that we have, like in IIT, we have a course called networking, that is the CCNA course, the CCNA, the Cisco Certified Network Associate. So if you're just studying the course and you are in a position where you are to crimp a cable, to make an Ethernet cable, rather than just looking at the tools that you have been given, you are to ask yourself, I want to communicate. Why should I communicate? How should I communicate from one computer to another? And by then you say, how should I use then this crimper? This tool is a crimper. How should I use it? How should I use the RJ45? And at IIT, we develop that critical thinking for our students, that when they are studying in any of our courses, we develop their critical thinking and bring them to the inventor's thinking problem and the inventor problem solving, so that they can understand and apply their knowledge to practical scenarios and enhance their skills. So this deepens understanding. Looking at case studies, you have two computers. You want to make them communicate. How would you make them communicate? They can maybe, pass electrical signals from one point to another. Okay, so how will we do that? Then we need a cable. Okay, so what cable do we need? We may need just a wire. So, okay, so this wire, how is it going to pass signals from one communication to another? Then there is supposed to be rules. Yes, the protocols now come in. So when you now start to study having that critical mindset, asking yourself why, asking and answering questions to stimulate your thinking, to stimulate your brain to think. Not just study because, oh, this one teacher mentioned and you're writing it down. This one teacher mentioned. No, that is not how we should study. Or studying and saying, oh, this looks like a good point. No, that is not how we should study. Critical thinking helps us to study effectively. Problem solving. You're solving a problem in this one. The reason, by the way, why we are educated, we study, is because somebody solved a problem, and for that problem, for solving a problem, presents another complex problem. We have solved so many problems in this world, but problems continue piling up and piling up because there are more complex problems. So if you may know how we solve this problem, then solving the next complex problem will require you not just to have the education, but to have a problem solving skill. That's why we are educated. That's why we come as educational experts for some, problem solving skills. Other than, and most important, or to the heart of this, of the perfection of this, is healthy study habits. There are bad study habits that sometimes we develop. Like I told you, there are many methods. Like catching a rat, there are many methods. One of most famous philosophers saying that there are many ways to catch a rat. You can put a trap, you can poison the food and give it to the rat. You can, spray insecticides, just to kill the rat. You can even, just burn the whole house because you want to catch a rat. And so there are good habits, but there are also bad habits. But I want to specifically go on the good habits, the healthy habits. Regular breaks during and physical activities during the reading time. There are regular breaks. That's why even in a school you will have, after a lesson, you may have a 5 minutes break or a 5 minute recess, so that your brain may not monotonously concentrate, but have a, 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 a time to internalize what it has have. One that I want to speak particularly is healthy sleeping patterns. Have a regular sleeping time. Do not extend almost to the exams because you have an exams to do. Do not just read to the wee hours. Science has shown that sleep is very important. During your sleep, this is when your brain clears out irrelevant messages that you have during the day, or relevant or relevant uh, information that your brain has. And that goes back to, if your why is not that strong, then your brain might clear out the information as relevant. And that's why it is very important that when you're studying, you just don't study. And I know that this has happened to many of us, mostly maybe millennials and Gen Zs uh, who are revising for their next exams. Have you ever realized that sometimes you studied before the exams and you studied very hard and you studied for a lot of time and you spent hours reading, but immediately when you went to sleep, something happened. Everything in the exam room disappeared. It's like your brain formatted during your sleep. But before you slept, your brain was just full and packed with knowledge. But just immediately after you sleeping, it's like you are just in a cloud and there is nothing in your brain. You try to remember even the page. You can see the page. Yes, you can see the page. Because you are opening the page, you can see that activity. But you cannot see anything in that page. That's because when you sleep, the brain clears irrelevant information because you did not critically, you are not having a problem solving technique, you are not having a problem solving mindset. Your brain cleared out that information as irrelevant because it was not seeing how it is helping in your life. So sleep helps in clearing out irrelevant information in your life. Yes, somebody had broken you yesterday. That is an irrelevant information in your life. So it clears. Somebody, uh, uh, mishandled you yesterday. Irrelevant information. Forgive, forget, go. But at that particular point, that is when you sleep, and it creates space for memory, fresh, to be stored for other good study methods or good study concepts. Then sleep patterns also help you to relax. To relax, it helps also to create the neural patterns in your brain. When you sleep, the brain, because you had a problem solving skill, you had a problem in your mind of grasping a concept and you try to explain the concept in your mind, and when you sleep sometimes the concept was not well explained, and so your mind during sleep tries to find other routes. Neurons goes and find other routes of solving the problem that you had. Was it a math concept? It goes through your mind that there is a way through. Your mind goes through other neural paths, and sometimes going through a path during a sleep, your brain goes through some neural paths that you had created, and it makes a groove. It makes like a path. It makes the path so cemented because you were thinking upon it critically. Yeah? Like your brain was firing up, fire in that path. And so the path was created, and so it sticks, it cements itself. Healthy study habits, nutrition and hydration. Nutrition brings on whatever you eat. There are nutrients that are very effective for brain development and memorization. There are foods that are very impactful for the brain memory. And there are foods that also destroy your brain memory. There is a diet that is causing you to have brain loss. We remember drugs and substance abuse, which will hinder you from, having good memory. We have foods that can really inhibit you from having good memory. Hydration is very important. Drinking a lot of water. You as a person who is 62% water, how don't you want to drink water? You are basically water, so try to always rehydrate. Gives the body new, I don't know, have you ever just taken a glass of water and just drank it and felt the effect of the brain? You like feel a cool breeze, not outside but inside your brain. A cool breeze. It's different. It's like you get into a shower and it was a hot day and you just submerge your head in water. It's like a cool, relaxing breeze. So that is the same as when you drink water. A lot of water to maintain the body function. It helps in also being healthy and having a healthy brain for effective study. And to that, we also have customization and personalization. All these study methods can be personalized. They can be customized to fit you as a person, as an individual. And that's why I say that there are different kinds of people during study. There are people who may want to study at night. There are people who may want to study during the day. There are people who want to study when there is an hostile environment. We have seen people who say that they study when they are listening to music. There are people who say that they study when they are out, maybe in the nature. There are different people who study, and there are some scientific research that have gone into this. Some have come up with three basic personalities during study, and I'll leave that unto you to look at it. But what I want us to look at here is the adaptive learning technologies. How can you adapt to these learning environments? The software that adjusts content to pacing based on student performance, and learning style. Looking at different softwares or different applications that can engage you how you want. You can personalize your Kahoot to the different timings. You can personalize your quizlet that gives you the slides or the placards. You can personalize your health. You can personalize your group of members that you use to study with. Sometimes somebody may feel that, they said you have to have a group, so I'll take the most brilliant. For my personal reason, I will never attend a group that have the most brilliant people. I'll rather attend a group that has average brilliant people that are struggling with some concept as I am struggling, so that we can struggle together, fumble together, and know it together. When I get a group where everybody knows it, I find myself shrinking because I find that I'm the odd one out. So I'm personalizing even my collaborative group, So it's not just a matter of being in a group, it's a matter of being in an effective group. So personalize these tools. I'm not just going to enter all online platforms of groups. I have a study group that is personalized unto me. is fit for my personal gain. So another thing on personalization and customization is goal setting. Set your goals right. It personalizes your study goal. It personalizes your study method. Not just having breaks, but I would like me, if I'm into it, I'll not have a break until I've met a dead end. Then I say I'll have a break unto this. So personalize your and customize your study to fit you, and do not just make it fit you. Personalize to make it easy, but personalize to push yourself to the extreme, to push yourself to the next level. Always try and push yourself to the next level. And also, I think last but not least is mindfulness and stress management. Mindfulness is very important. Meditation can help you get mindfulness and can help you manage stress. Studies sometimes can be stressful because these are new concepts. They are aliens to us. They seem big and giants to us. They are creepy and sometimes it causes stress and it causes us to panic and anxiety attacks happen. And sometimes if we have underlying conditions, we now start having pants and pants over a study technique, a study concept. And to manage and to be mindful of this, to have our minds together, not have any distractions, to be in a state of mind where we say now we are in a mental health. Our mental health is optimized. I don't want to say 100% because I think nobody's 100% because of this life, but we are optimizing, we are on the optimal position of our mental health. So sometimes stress can come in with study because of the concepts and the formulas and whatever the study material is. We can be having books of 1,000 pages. We can having maybe class sessions of a whole semester or a whole term or whatever what you want to study. We can be having novels and books to summarize, or PDFs and several PDFs to summarize. Mindfulness is very important so that you can be on the optimal mental health and reduce stress. Have to know your stress management. How do you manage stress in that particular time? Encourage a growth of mindset and being kind to your oneself during setbacks and can enhance reliance. Do not put do not be too much hard on yourself so that you can get a concept. I've seen sometimes because you cannot get a concept or the concept is not mathing. The math is not mathing. So maybe you bang your head on the table, you beat your head, those are signs and symptoms of poor stress management, because you start to be stressed because you have an exam around the corner, you have an essay to write. Do not bang yourself. Have good mindfulness, have good mental health, have good stress coping mechanism. If you cannot sometimes get it and you see you are having stress, find a stranger, just explain the concept. Try just to explain the concept to even a 4-year-old. They won't understand whatever you say, but they will give you a listening ear, and because they can listen to you, it gives that somebody can listen to what you can say, although it is not right. But then you can have the other part. That's where I think you always have your conscience talking to yourself. You're explaining to someone something, a concept, and then your conscience is also talking to yourself and saying, okay, that one you get it right, that you get it right. Okay, so here is where you went wrong. So this is where the wrong in your study is, or this is where you didn't get it right in the technique or in the concept. And so that helps a lot in managing your stress, so that you can calm down and see yourself and have compassion about yourself and rethink about whatever the concept of the study you are going through. And that is on on mindfulness and stress management. I think last but not least is useful of analytics. Analytics is just allowing yourself to question yourself, allowing some platforms that will quiz you, look at quizzing platforms that are available for you to test on your knowledge. There are applications again that can help you to prepare. There are study questions that you can search on online that can help you prepare for a test, that can quiz you, that can analyze your your concept. For our ISDL program that we have at IIT, I love the analytics that they have in the skills box. Skills box is one of the tools that they use to analyze our students on the concept that they have on the concept that they have learned in this training that we have. And the pass mark is always a 75. The pass mark is always a 75, but we have had students scoring up to 90%. But we told them, we usually tell them to aim higher. In that skills box, you should be able to, score even 100%. So skills box as an analytics of the students to prepare them for the now online ICDL exams. And I welcome you to try it out in our various institutions. You are welcome even in Buruburu campus, where you'll get trainers who will help you study effectively on your journey to start with computers. So learning analytics are there. Many educational platforms offer analytical tools to track the progress and identify areas of improvements, allowing for data-driven strategies. So the example that I gave you, like Skillbox, will enable you to look at areas, and even it highlights areas that maybe you have not yet grasped well because of a question that you may have gotten it wrong. So that is it for my presentation. I hope you may customize these study techniques effectively for your effective learning. See you next time. I hope if you have any question down at the comment section, you can send us your comments so that we can have an engagement and study effectively together. Otherwise, it has been a pleasure being your presenter, Samson Omwaka.